Good evening. Okay, so I wanted to look up the Blue Letter Bible. I was on, I think, Parables of the Vineyard, and I had asked about what does a new moon look like, and how do we know about the Sabbath, if it's the daytime or the night? And some moderator had said something about looking up Nehemiah, so I thought I would just go there. Let me look up Nehemiah 13 and see what can we find from there. Because I've always known about that Psalm 81:3. Let's see if we can find exactly what he was referring to. Let's just start reading Nehemiah 13:1 and see if we can discover something new. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that you're here with us tonight. And I pray that you'd open up the eyes of our understanding so that we may have wisdom and knowledge and be able to get further along than what we've been doing. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to invite you in for the meeting tonight. I actually didn't put any link out, but if people do end up joining, it's because they might have the link. But let me just see if I can find what we need to look at. Command plus. Here we go. Okay, that's good. So this is the Bible and the book of Nehemiah, or Nehemiah, some people say. 13, let's see what it says. On that day, they read from the book of Moses. Hey, I wonder what day it was, because maybe we have to look at chapter 12 to know what day they're talking about. Dare I go back? Let me just see really quick. Oh, previous? I don't know. Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm just going to keep reading. I want to know what day are they talking about on that day. Well, let's see. Oh, I'm so curious. I don't know what day they're talking about. We'd have to know about. Oh, I'm going to have to see if I can change it. Hang on. Nehemiah 12. Hang on a second. Let me just see. No. Let's just see what day they're talking about, first of all. Nehemiah chapter 12. I am just too curious to know what day are they talking about. I mean, I can't just say on that day. What day? What day are they talking about? Okay, let me see if I can skim it here. They're talking about, these are the priests. Hey, there's a Bija there. Okay, these are were the heads of the priests and their brethren in the days of Yeshua. Is that Jeshua? Moreover, the Levites were Jeshua, Benui, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, and Mattaniah, who led the thanksgiving psalms, he and his brethren. Okay, let me skim down. Now in the days of Joachim the priest, the heads of the father's house were Sariah, Moriah, Jeremiah, Hananiah, of Ezra, Meshullam, Amariah, Jehonan. Let me skip down and see. During the reign of Darius the Persian, a record was also kept of the Levites and priests who had been heads of their fathers' houses in the days of Eliashib, Joiada, Johanan, and Jaddua, the sons of Levi, the heads of the fathers' houses until the days of Johanan, the son of Eliashib, were written in the book of the Chronicles. And the heads of the Levites were, and then let me see, looking for the day. Okay, were gatekeepers keeping the watch at the storerooms of the gates. These lived in the days of Joachim, the son of Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and in the days of Nehemiah, the governor, and of Ezra, the priest, the scribe. Oh, Nehemiah dedicates the wall. I'm assuming that this is the wall that Nehemiah went to reinforce after the wall of Jerusalem had been torn down. So now at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, they sought out the Levites in all their places to bring them to Jerusalem, to celebrate the dedication with gladness, both with thanksgiving and singing, with cymbals and stringed instruments and harps. And the sons of the singers gathered together from the countryside around Jerusalem, from the villages of the Netophathites, from the house of Gilgal, and the fields of Geba. And okay, so this must be the day of the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem. Yeah, the Levites and the priests, they purified the people and the gates, the wall. So I brought the leaders of Judah up on the wall and appointed 2 large thanksgiving choirs. One went to the right hand on the wall toward the refuse gate. After that doesn't sound too good. After them went Hoshea and half of the leaders of Judah. 2 large. One went to the right hand on the wall toward the refuse gate. I don't think I'd like to be on the refuse gate. That doesn't sound good. That smells kind of stinky to me. And some of the priest's sons with trumpets, Zechariah, the son of Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micaiah, the son of Zakur, the son of Asaph, and his brethren, Shemaiah, Azarel, Maliah, Gilai, Mai, Judah, and Hanai, with musical instruments of David, the man of God. Ezra, the scribe, went before them. Oh, wow. By the fountain gate. In front of them, they went up the stairs of the city of David, on the stairway of the wall, beyond the house of David, as far as the water gate. Oh, water gate. Eastward. The other Thanksgiving choir went the opposite way, and I was behind them with half of the people on the wall, going past the tower of the ovens as far as the broad wall. And above the gate of Ephraim, above the old gate, above the fish gate, the tower of Hananel, the tower of the 100, as far as the sheep gate, and they stopped by the gate of the prison. So the 2 Thanksgiving choirs stood in the house of God. Likewise, I and the half of the rulers with me, and the priests Eliakim, Masai, Mijam, Micaiah, Elani, Zechariah, and Hananiah with trumpets. Also, Masai, Shemai, Eleazar, Uzi, Jehonan. Yeah, the singers sang loudly with Jezariah, the director. Also that day, they offered great sacrifices and rejoiced, for God had made them rejoice with great joy. The women and children also rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard afar off. Then they go here to the temple responsibilities, and at the same time, some were appointed over the rooms of the storehouse. Hang on a second. Hang on. My child is summoning me. Hey, come on up. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. You want to lay down your bed? Here, come lay over here. Oh, I just stepped on a piece of cold chicken in the arch of my foot. Silly. She ate her chicken on the ground. Okay, so where was I here? Okay, so at the same time, some were appointed over the rooms of the storehouse for the offerings, the first fruits and the tithes, to gather unto them from the fields of the cities the portions specified by the law for the priests and Levites. For Judah rejoiced over the priests and Levites who ministered, both the singers and the gatekeepers. This is Nehemiah 12:45. We're really wanting to read about 13. but we needed to find out what day is this that they're talking about. Looks like it's the day of Thanksgiving. Both singers and the gatekeepers kept the charge of their God and the charge of the purification according to the command of David and Solomon his son. Nehemiah 12:46. For in the days of David and Asaph of old there were chiefs of the singers and songs of praise and thanksgiving to God. Nehemiah 12:47. In the days of Zerubbabel and in the days of Nehemiah, all Israel gave the portions for the singers. Hey, I'm a singer. And the gatekeepers a portion for each day. They also consecrated holy things for the Levites, and the Levites consecrated them for the children of Aaron. Okay, so that was talking about that day where they were giving Thanksgiving. Here, right here is Nehemiah 13. It says principles of separation. What does this mean? Let's see. On that day, they read, on that day, that was the day that they were giving praise at the wall that they built. On that day, they read from the book of Moses in the hearing of the people, and in it was found written that no Ammonite or Moabite should ever come into the assembly of God, because they had not met the children of Israel with bread and water. Excuse me. But hired Balaam. They hired Balaam against them to curse them. However, our God turned the curse into a blessing. So it was, when they had heard the law, that they separated all the mixed multitude from Israel. The reforms of Nehemiah. Now before this, Eliashib the priest, having authority over the storerooms of the house of our God, was allied with Tobiah. And he had prepared for him a large room, where previously they had stored the grain offerings, the frankincense, the articles, the tithes of grain, the new wine and oil, which were commanded to be given to the Levites and singers and gatekeepers, and the offerings for the priests. But during all this, I was not in Jerusalem. For in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, this is Nehemiah talking, I had returned to the king. Then after certain days, I obtained leave from the king. This is Nehemiah 13:7. And I came to Jerusalem and discovered the evil that Eliashib had done for Tobiah in preparing a room for him in the courts of the house of God. And it grieved me bitterly. Therefore, I threw all the household goods of Tobiah out of the room. Yikes. Then I commanded them to cleanse the rooms, and I brought back into them the articles of the house of God, with the grain offering and the frankincense. I also realized that the portions for the Levites had not been given them, for each of the Levites and the singers who did the work had gone back to his field. So I contended with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. Then all Judah brought the tithe of the grain and the new wine and the oil to the storehouse. And I appointed as treasurers over the storehouse Shelemiah the priest and Zadok the scribe, and of the Levites Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan the son of Zaccur, the son of Mattaniah, for they were considered faithful, and their task was to distribute to their brethren. Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and do not wipe out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God and for its services. In those days, I saw people in Judah treading wine presses on the Sabbath. That would probably be the daytime. And bringing in sheaves. Oh, and loading donkeys with wine, grapes, figs, and all kinds of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I warned them about the day on which they were selling provisions. Oh, men of Tyre dwelt there also, who brought in fish and all kinds of goods and sold them on the Sabbath. Uh-oh. To the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said to them, what evil thing is this that you do by which you profane the Sabbath day? Did you notice it says day? It doesn't say night. Excuse me. Did not your fathers do thus? And did not our God bring all this disaster on us and on this city? Yet you bring added wrath on Israel by profaning the Sabbath. So it was at the gates of Jerusalem as it began. Oh, wait a minute. Right here. As it began to be dark before the Sabbath, that would be before the Sabbath, that I commanded the gates to be shut. That was before the Sabbath. Right there. Nehemiah 13:19. So it was at the gates of Jerusalem as it began to be dark, like right now. Right now. Just got dark. Yep. It just got dark just now. Friday night. That I commanded the gates to be shut and charged that they must not be open till after the Sabbath. That would be tomorrow. Then I made a post on Facebook, some of my servants at the gates, so that no burdens would be brought in on the Sabbath day. Did you notice that? It says day. So this is very interesting. That's tomorrow. Now the merchants and sellers of all kinds of wares lodged outside Jerusalem once or twice. Then I warned them and said to them, why do you spend the night around the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time on, they came no more on the Sabbath. That would have been the next day. So that's like tomorrow. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves and that they should go and guard the gates to sanctify, set apart the Sabbath day. Oh, remember me, oh my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of your mercy. Oh, okay. That's cool. That was the area about the Sabbath. Let's see if there's anything more. Let me just keep reading. In those days, I also saw Jews who had married women of Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab. And half of their children spoke the language of Ashdod and could not speak the language of Judah, but spoke according to the language of one or the other people. So I contended with them and cursed them, struck some of them, and pulled out their hair, oh boy, and made them swear by God, saying, you shall not give your daughters as wives to their sons, nor take their daughters for your sons or yourselves. Oh, did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? So their leader did that. Yet among many nations, there was no king like him who was beloved of his God and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, pagan women caused even him to sin. Should we then hear of your doing all this great evil, transgressing against our God by marrying pagan women? And one of the sons of Joiada, the son of Elishib, the high priest, was a son-in-law of Sanballat, the Horonite. Therefore I drove him from me. Remember them, oh my God, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and the Levites. Thus I cleanse them of everything pagan. I also assign duties to the priests and the Levites, each to his service, and to bringing the wood offering and the first fruits at appointed times. Remember me, oh my God, for good. Oh, so that was interesting. So Friday night or the nighttime isn't the Sabbath. Interesting. Nehemiah 13:19. So it began to be dark. The reason why they started was to protect, the city from doing commerce the next day. Oh, so maybe that would be considered like the preparation day, huh? Let me look at the tools here for a second. So it is in the daytime. That makes sense. Don't do any work in the day. Yeah, well, that makes sense. When it's dark, you can't see, right? I mean, back then, they didn't have lights like this. Sabbath. Let's see. 7676. The Sabbath. Let's see what that is. Shabbat. Let me see how they say it. Shabbat.
Strong's H7676. Shabbath. Shabbath.
Oh, Shabbath. The Shabbath. Okay. Shabbath. So, hey, look at there. It says Sabbath or Shabbath. Shabbath. Day of Atonement. Shabbath year. Week. Produce in Shabbath year. Let me see Shabbath. Intensive intermission. It's the day of rest. Oh, day of rest of heart. We could all sure use that, Yeah, you know how it does say about men's hearts shall be men's hearts. Men shall die or something. Oh, because of the stress, I guess. So we do need to rest our heart. Let's see. Today is the Shabbath of Yahuwah. Every Shabbath, the sabbatical year, every 7th year, in which the land was not tilled, perhaps a week, like the Let me see, is there anything more? Oh, let's show all. Strong's definitions. Intensive from 7673. Intermission. Let me just look at that for a second. So Shabbath, a primitive root. It means to cease, to rest, away, fail, celebrate, miscellaneous. To cause to cease, put an end to exterminate. What? Destroy? What? To cause to desist from, to remove, to cause to fail, to keep or observe the Shabbat. Desist from exertion. Oh, yeah. Used in many implied relations, causative, figurative, or specific. Seize, celebrate, cause, make, fail, keep, Sabbath. Suffer to be lacking, leave, put away, down, make to, rest, rid, still, take away. Seeds of seasons, manna. Oh. Desist from labor and rest. Okay, to rest, to keep as a day of rest, to take rest. The primary idea appears to be that of to sit down, to sit still. Cognate on the one hand, or something on the other. Read the full entry, of course. Now here we go. A, the traveler rests, abstains from journeying. Oh. Interesting. To cease, to desist, leave off, followed by desist from doing anything. Oh. To celebrate the Sabbath. To cause to rest, followed by from work. Oh. Or to cause a work to cease, to interrupt. To make an enemy to rest. To restrain, still, to still. To cause to seize any person followed by something before and in. Without anything. To put an end to war, contention, exultation. Who hath left thee without a redeemer? To remove, to take away. And here's from Genesis 2:2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had done. That's a good example. Then God blessed the seventh day and set it apart, because in it he rested from all his work, which God had created and made. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Exodus 5:5, and Pharaoh said, look, the people of the land are many now, and you make them rest from their labor. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall remove leaven from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. Oh. Okay. So the people rested on the seventh day. 6 days you shall do your work. And on the seventh day you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son of your female servant and the stranger may be refreshed. Exodus 31:17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. So if we want to be refreshed, we also should be, resting on the seventh day. 6 days you shall work, but on the seventh day you shall rest. That's what's going to help us, and it's going to help our hearts too. Keep you from having stress. And every offering of your grain offering you shall season with salt. Hey, I put some sea salt on my dinner tonight. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. Huh. It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls on the 9th day of the month at evening. What's this? Leviticus 23:32. On the 9th day of the month at evening. From evening, to evening, you shall celebrate your Sabbath. What is this all about, Leviticus? Wait a minute. Okay, let's go there, shall we? It says you shall afflict your souls. Does that mean you're supposed to like take a good look at yourself? I think so. I don't think it has anything to do with flagellation and self-flagellation, like the Roman Catholic people do. All right, so let me see. A Sabbath of rest you shall afflict. Let's look at that. What does that mean? You shall afflict your souls. A primitive root, possibly rather identifying through the idea of looking down or browbeating. Afflict, humble, force, exercise, sing, troubled, weakened, lennoth. I don't know what that means. To be occupied or be busied by, to afflict, oppressed, humble, be afflicted, be bowed down, to be put down, become low, to be depressed, be downcast, to be afflicted, to stoop, to humble oneself, bow down, to be afflicted, be humbled, to humble, mishandle, afflict, to humble, be humiliated, to afflict. Oh, so that's where they kind of get that self-flagellation stuff. I don't think that they meant that we're supposed to be beating ourselves, with the whip or nothing like that, like they do in the Roman Catholic Church. No, well, to humble yourself means to sit down to listen to teaching, to realize that we need to learn. Yeah, let me see what else that would say. The idea of looking down or browbeating, to depress literally or figuratively. Transitive or intransitive. Answer by mistake for chasten, self, deal hardly with, defile. Exercise, force, gentleness, humble. Hurt, ravish, sing, by mistake. For by mistake, submit self and weaken anyway. Let me see what this one says. 8:60:30. Yeah. I don't think it means to beat yourself with a whip or nothing like that. I think it means to kind of like examine yourself and to hear, to listen, testify, speak, sing, bear, answer, cry out, yeah. Witness, give, to answer, respond, testify, speak, shout, to answer, to testify and respond as a witness, to make an answer, to be answered, receive an answer. Hey, I want to receive an answer. To sing utterly tunefully, to dwell. Cool. So, properly to eye or generally to heed, pay attention, yeah. By implication, to respond. By extension, to begin to speak. Specifically to sing, shout, testify, announce, give account, afflict, cause to give, answer, bring low, cry here, Lenoth. I don't know what that means. Lenoth. Lift up, say, scholar. Give a shout, sing together by course, speak, testify, utter, bear witness. Dwell, to support, help. Let me see. Okay. To sing. That's cool. To call, to read. Hey. So those are things that we can do on the Sabbath: to sing, to call, to read. Hey, followed by to praise with. Yeah. So look at, here's an example of Genesis 18:27. Then Abraham answered and said, indeed now, I who am but dust and ashes have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, now Ephron dwelt among the sons of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the presence of the sons of Heth, all who entered at the gate of a city, saying, oh, let's see. The thing comes from the Lord. We cannot speak to you either bad or good. Isaac answered and said to Esau, indeed, I have made him your master, and all his brethren I have given him to him as servants. With grain and wine I have sustained him. What shall I do now for you, my son? Behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth and the dew of the heaven above, so my righteousness will answer for me in a time to come. When the subject of my wages comes before you, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, the brown and the lambs will be considered stolen if it is with me. Okay. So I guess, analyze things that's going on. Bring yourself low, or question, how are you doing in there? Do not sin against the boy. He would not listen. Ooh. So these are some good things to look at. Sing unto the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and its rider is thrown into the sea. Yeah, the Lord has spoken, and we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people of the Lord. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, and Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not follow a crowd to do evil, nor shall you testify in a dispute so as to turn aside after many to pervert justice. So Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord has said we will do. But he said, it is not the noise of the shout of victory, nor the noise of the cry of defeat, but the sound of singing I hear. Spring up, oh well, all of you, sing to it. So this is a good study. I guess it's about the Sabbath. There was something in Leviticus back there about saying from evening to evening. Yeah, that was interesting. But I did see that in Nehemiah, that it was about the day, but they did start it. They closed the gates and everything Friday night or whenever, the night before. So it wouldn't tempt anybody, I guess, to be coming in. Isn't that wild how the world is just like all about Friday night and Saturday? And interesting. Well, I'm gonna rest. I'm actually gonna close out my computer and I'm gonna rest. And I'm gonna take tomorrow off like I've been taking Saturdays off for the longest time, but I don't really know how to tell the time yet. I gotta find out about the moon. I know, I'm not talking about lunar, I'm talking about lunar solar. But that's another subject. Anyways, you guys have a good evening and rest up. We deserve it. We deserve to rest.